everyone, my name is IMAN ALWANI, matrix number 055277, and I am from Band 3A.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is AZWA. My matrix number is 055977, and I'm from Band 3B.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Ali Shafiee ROSLI and my matrix number is 054972. I'm from Band 3A.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is ZALIKHA binti AZWA and my matric number is 055825 and I'm from Band 3B.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is binti RAMLI and my matric number is 056342 and I'm from Band 3B.
Hi, I am Dani. My matric number is 056141. I am from Band 3B.
And I am FARHAN bin AHMAD TARMIZI, matric number 055533.
First and foremost, what is government relations? So, I went all around the internet and also books to get a simple yet understandable definition for us. This is what I got. Government relations is a type of public relations that focuses on the communication between organizations and also the government. In other words, it is an essential tool for any businesses that depends on government regulations. Not only that, government relations is also defined as an educational process mixed in with a liberal amount of advocacy. To make it simpler, we call it an educational process. So, what are the goals? The main goal of government relations is to teach CEOs, industry leaders, and organizations what the government process is and how to communicate with the public about legislations. Legislation here refers to the preparation and enactment of laws by a legislative body through its lawmaking process. Government relations can be used in a corporate setting to initiate lobbying efforts directed at legislators. As I have mentioned earlier, government relations is also like an educational process because they provide an education governmental and business leaders and the public about the potential consequences of legislation. Besides, the specialists take part to educate business and industry leads about governmental processes. Well, not only that, they are also responsible in educating the clients about the lawmaking process and identifying plus monitoring important issues that affect their business. They also offer advice on how to influence the underlying law and public policy. So, a company or industry-government relationship, they have that kinds of qualities in their political area. So, the qualities are based on the degree the company or industry and government trust one another. They agree on a certain degree of discretion and transparency and also mutual respect for their respective activities. And the last one is they are prepared to commit oneself to one another. In particular crisis situations, mutual trust serves as a basic for possible emergency management situations. So solid relationships can help a company in dealing with political actors to reach consensus or mutual understanding more effectively and also to facilitate the development with the rising use of social and digital media in corporate political communication, or we call it as public relations. So I bet all of you are still wondering, what do they do actually? First, developing strategies. Second, mapping all stakeholders who influence government decisions and affect the business. Third, researching policy and position papers. Fourth, preparing businesses for governmental appearances. And the last one is monitoring issues. Well, that's all for me. Shall we continue with the next presenter?
Now we are going to move to lobbying. So what is lobbying? So in politics, lobbying is the act of lawfully attempting to influence the actions, policy, or decision of government officials, most often legislators or members of regulatory agencies. So lobbying, which usually involve direct face-to-face contact, is done by many types of people, association, and organized group, including individuals in the private sector, corporation, fellow legislators of government, official, or advocacy groups.
Advocacy means a group supports a political or social cause. They may recommend certain changes in government, public policy, society, or law. And advocacy groups comes together around a common issue like greater rights for immigrants and refugees, the environment, education, healthcare, or women's rights.
In a simple sentence, lobbying is an act by which someone tries to convince someone in authority to make the desired change on behalf of the third party. So the one who did the lobbying is called lobbyists. Again, lobbyists are intermediaries between client organization and lawmakers. They explain to legislators what their organization wants, and they explain to their clients about what obstacles elected official faces. So individuals and non-profit organizations can also lobby as an act of volunteering or as a small part of the normal job. But then again, a person who writes a letter to a congressperson or even questions a candidate at a political meeting could be constructed as a lobbyist. For examples, aerospace startup SpaceX and Blue Origin hired over 55 lobbyists last year to pass laws allowing commercial space flights and private satellite launches. And then, over 1,000 lobbyists work on the 21st Century Cures Act, which out $6.3 billion in funding and changed the drug approval process at the FDA drugs approval. So now we are going to tackle the confusion between bribery and lobbying. So bribery here is considered as an effort to buy power by paying to guarantee a certain result, while lobbying is considered an effort to influence power, often by offering contributions. So the main difference between these two is that bribery is considered illegal, while lobbying is not. And also, lobbying operates openly in public as a profession that we call as lobbyists, while a bribe usually occurs in individual level and is anything but public. So a bribe giver usually gives an offer of money under the table in order to subvert standard process.
Next, I will talk about why negative perceptions happen in the lobbying. Lobbying is not well-known activity or an activity that normally carried out secretly, privately, and with a strict compliance. Public people have bad connotations and perception towards this matter. The awareness of driving forces of democracy and the daily life of the legislative sphere is very low. The critics can be so harsh that lobbyists always wish that they remained in the shadows. Lobbying has a very bad reputation in terms like manipulations, corruption, bribery, and so on. The rare occasions the public hear about the lobbying is in the media. There is crisis everywhere and a scandal cell. So the media rather pick on the bad stories concerning of lobbyists instead of the good ones. It is quite logical in the context that lobbying should remain a dark activity and the lobbyists are perceived as a bad guys. Today, several organized lobbies serve various sectors of society and discuss such a wide variety of concerns that the public is frequently suspicious of the positions of the special interests in the legislative process, particularly the media. Therefore, since many individuals feel there is little to hide or to be embarrassed of, lobbyists are favorite villains in the public opinion. The public apparently thinks that the private interests are winning over the public interests and that the private interests are winning out. As we know that the lobbying is facing a great transparency problem, but they are quite aware of this problem and take measures to solve it. The example from the book, quote from the former British Prime Minister David Cameron 2010, secret corporate lobbying goes to the heart of why people are so fed up with politics. It arouses people's worst fears and suspicions about how our political system works, with money buying power, power fishing for money, and the cozy club at the top making decisions in their own interests. So that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
My part is about transparency. So, what is transparency? So, transparency can be simplified with just two words: honesty and openness. So, I'll be talking about corporate transparency and also government transparency. So, first, corporate transparency. Corporate transparency refers to conducting commercial activities and various companies' operations in a clear, honest, and open manner. The organization is transparent when they enable others to see and understand how they operate in an honest way. Simply put, the perceived transparency is the perceived quality of intentionally shared information from the corporation. To achieve transparency, an organization must provide information about its activities and also governance to stakeholders that are accurate, complete, and made available in a timely way. However, this does not mean all information should be made publicly available, such as private information, such as the client's record, commercial in confidence material, such as tender submission, and also trade secrets, especially for food industry. Do not ever reveal your secret recipes to other companies. Government transparency. Government officials act openly with citizens' knowledge of the decisions the officials are making. Transparency is government obligations to share information with citizens. So information on how officials conduct the public business and spend taxpayers' money must be readily available and easily understood. The information released should be objective and easily understandable for those who receive it. Avoid difficult terminology. Reciprocity principle is a give and take transactions between the government officials and the company's lobbyists. Provide know-how, technical and economic background information and research results which public officials need when considering policies or rules that affect the businesses the lobbyists represent. The provision of relevant information and expertise through lobbyist activities is legitimate and necessary. This is because government officials who are acting in the interests of the general public are generally laymen in their respective fields. This means they are not an expert on the field. However, providing expertise and information to the officials can also provide opportunity for other companies and their lobbyists to frame the way officials see the issues in question. So, one way to improve transparency of the lobbying process is to make sure the possible sources or influence are visible to the public and shared with relevant stakeholders in the specific field. To conclude, transparency is a fundamental element of abolishing corruption. Corruption threatens good governance, and controlling it is only possible when government, citizens, and the private sector cooperate to ensure transparency. That is all for my part. Thank you. The next presenter will present their next subtopic.
Next, I will be presenting about conflicts of interest. First thing first, we have to know what is conflicts of interest. A conflict of interest is a situation in which a person or organization is involved in multiple interests, financial or otherwise, and serving one interest could involve working against another. Anyone can get occasional access to the government officials, isn't it? But only a diligently and brilliantly established connection in the political arena provides access at critical times and especially important situations. It is connection that makes lobbyists privy to non-public information or public information before it becomes public. This privileged knowledge can make all the difference in the success of their company's goals. Lobbyists will more likely to take advantage of this personal connection with the government officials. Why? So that they can create a relationship of reciprocity, or let me put it in a simpler way, exchanging things for mutual benefits. This way, they will get the preferential and favorable treatment related to the special benefits they are seeking. For example, a local project developer, which is the lobbyist, invites relevant government official to a bus trip to visit the site of a planned development. He believes that the bus ride is an important part of the visit. Why? Because it allows his employees to talk to the government officials in a more intimate environment. Do you know what I mean? Exchanging personal experiences, maybe. And it also gives him a chance to demonstrate to the government officials that the company is made of human too. Like, we have feelings too, you know? An aspect which is important as official public township meetings at which developers' view of the project may become perceived as very depersonalized. That's all from me. I will pass the presentation to the next presenter.
Everyone, before I explain further about government pragmatism, do you guys know what is the meaning of pragmatism? So it is a reasonable and logical way of doing things or of thinking about problems that is based on dealing with specific situation instead of on theories and ideas. So it is an approach to philosophy, primarily held by American philosophers. In simple words, it is a practical approach to problems and affairs. Government pragmatism is an act where politicians or government officers require inputs from those who have knowledge and expertise into the respective business. They felt that without industry expert input, they will eventually overstrain when discussing policies, rules, and regulations. No one would expect politicians would lack expertise in their own field. They are supposed to have good judgment, but they need input or opinion from experts to establish balanced views on policies and legislation. Now, let me share with you guys an example of government pragmatism. This example is taken from the previous Donald Trump presidential campaign. At that time, pro-Trump campaigners and programmers carefully adjusted the timing of content production during the debates and colonized pro-Clinton hashtag as they disabled the automated activities right after the election day. This excellent move by pro-Trump programmers has resulted where their hashtag got 5 times higher from the hashtag that pro-Clinton got. Donald Trump has outperformed Hillary Clinton since his tweets got retweeted a total 12 million times, while Hillary Clinton tweets only got retweeted for 5.5 million times. Researchers found out that the use of automated account was really strategic and deliberate throughout the election. From this example, it can be seen that Donald Trump used his pro-Trump campaigners' expertise in implementing his goal to win the election between him and Hillary Clinton. Before I forgot, this is the result of what Donald Trump did during his presidential campaign. That's all from me. Thank you.
To recap, government relation is a type of public relation that focuses on communication between the organization and the government, and they have certain goals. One of it is to teach the CEOs, the industry leaders, the organization what the government process is and how to communicate with the public about the legislation. And some of the activities are like developing strategies, researching policy and position papers, and monitoring issues. And after that, we have also learned about lobbying. Okay, lobbying is an act by which someone tries to convince someone in authority to make the desired change on behalf of a third party. And you need to always remember that lobbying and bribery are two different things. Okay, lobbying is not illegal, while bribery is illegal. Okay, lobbying operates openly in public as it's a as a profession, while a bribery usually occurs on an individual level and not in the public. And transparency. Transparency is basically an honesty and openness. Um, we have also learned about the conflicts of interest. Okay, what are the conflict? What is the conflicts of interest? This is a situation in which a person or an organization is involved in multiple interests, financial and otherwise. Serving one interest could involve working against another. Okay, and their goal is to create and take advantage of personal relationship and to create a relationship of reciprocity with a government official. Then we learn about government pragmatism. Okay, what is government pragmatism again? Okay, it's an act where politicians require input from those who have depth, insight, and expertise into the respective businesses. And one of the example of government pragmatism that has been given before is Donald Trump's presidential campaign. And I think that is all from our team. Thank you.